This is American Roundtable on TV 38 in Orlando. I'm Al Spry. Good morning to you. Have a great guest here that we're going to spend a little time talking about, of all things, sales. What is sales? What are the conceptions? What are the misconceptions? Tobi Moyle, welcome to American Roundtable.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tobi Moyle is a world-renowned consultant in the area of sales. She has reached the highest levels of corporate America and decided to come back and help people on a one-on-one basis. So I would very much like to spend this time with you. We don't often get to break away on American Roundtable and talk about a subject in depth, but this has been interesting me for months, and the energy finally connected here, and so welcome to American Roundtable.
Thank you. Thank you. Excited to be here.
Well, why don't we just talk about where you're from, your beginnings, what developed you as the person that you are today?
Well, I've spent the last 20 years in the corporate space, in corporate America, specifically working in finance, working for two of America's largest companies, and always was intrigued by sales. I was a sales leader myself. And over those 20 years, I found there were a lot of common denominators in those salespeople on our team that were, let's say, average achievers, and those salespeople that really excelled consistently and made more money, frankly, than everyone else. And so it's just very intriguing to me, and I like to call it, I dare say, an experiment over those 20 years to see if I could find the common denominators, the common triggers that made some salespeople so much better than others.
And that's what is fascinating me about today's show, because when I'm not broadcasting, I'm in a sales position as a realtor independent. And so it just, you know, and I think it all comes down to, number one, tell me your thoughts on this, being of service. When I say being of service to you, what does that mean to you, and how does that relate to when you say 20% of the salespeople do 80% of the sales is the old axiom, right? So
that's right. Well, at the end of the day, we're all selling, I believe. Whether you make your money, your income from selling a product or a service, at the end of the day, we're all trying to sell a point of view, right? Or we're selling something in a conversation. So, you know, being of service in sales, I think it's paramount. I think it's what it's really all about. Obviously, you might be trying to literally sell something, but you're trying to add value to someone's life when you're selling something.
Add value to someone's life. This is fantastic, and here's why. Because salespeople are poo-pooed by a lot of people, but if you didn't have salespeople of any kind, then the world would grind to a complete halt. Because sales is the oil that greases the gears.
Yeah, as they say, right? The old saying, nothing happens until someone sells something. And I believe that certainly to be true. So, you know, you're always looking in corporate speak. There's an acronym called WIFM, which stands for What's in It for Me.
WIFM.
WIFM, right? And I believe...
Is that like wiffle ball? I used to play that when I was a kid. But.
Exactly. Right, kind of, but not. But it's interesting because as a salesperson, if you go into any conversation or any sales experience, right, dialogue, with the idea that you're trying to help the other person, truly help the other person, then everything works out swimmingly well. It's when people are trying to be self-serving, when a salesperson goes into a conversation trying to get their point across, trying to pull something over on someone. That's what, to your point, gives salespeople kind of that bad name, right? The old slap you on the back and baby needs a new pair of shoes. No one likes to be sold like that.
It's horrible.
Right?
No, we're going to talk about sales, how it should be done,
That's right.
and we're going to enlighten you on that on this edition of American Roundtable on TV 38. Welcome back to the American Roundtable. My friend Bill Strickler is on an upcoming episode, but I wanted to do a little one-on-one, a little tete-a-tete. I would say a roundtable including you of three. So, you know, we have Bob or, you know, Jane or Mr. and Mrs. America. I'm just playing. It's you, of course. And me and Tobi, and we're talking about getting people to see what's in their best interests through your eyes. So sales requires definitely a lot of empathy. And I wanted to talk a little bit about empathy and how a salesman's empathy or a saleswoman's empathy can then be extrapolated into maybe we all need to have a little more empathy, if you know what I'm saying.
Agreed. I think that sales is about relating to other people. You know, at the end of the day, to me, a great salesperson, so if you're watching this and you're a salesperson or a sales leader for that matter, and you want to achieve even more, if you want to have more consistent success, because at the end of the day, the consistency is important. I always like to say, as a coach, you might have a random good month or a good week here and there, but the idea in sales as a career is to have some consistent success. But it's really about empathy. It's about connecting with other people. You know, we're humans, right? We're all the same in so many ways. And when you put up a barrier, anytime in life for that matter, not just in sales, but when you put up a barrier that it's an us versus them or a me versus you, that's never a good dynamic. So for me as a coach, when I'm trying to help a salesperson to have those more consistent results, it comes down to how are you treating people, and really how are you staying connected to people. There's a lot of talk in the sales industry and sales coaching about having a business plan where you're calling, 50 new prospects a day, 100 new prospects a day, going out and making old cold calls, they call it in the sales industry. And don't get me wrong, there's certainly a place for that, I believe, Al.
Not for me, but it's not exactly my thing,
Yeah.
but I still like the idea of getting out there and doing one-on-one.
That's right. It comes down to that human, that one-on-one connection.
Yeah. I did that years ago with Kirby vacuums. I was
that's
going
selling.
door to door, and it wasn't a good experience.
Yeah.
I ended up with like that dust in my lungs because you have to do
The mattress vacuum?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I love Kirby's and I love Kirby vacuums, and I think they're high quality. But
no doubt.
and if there weren't guys that do that, you would never get a Kirby vacuum because it's direct sales. It always has been.
That's right.
And so I believe that the sales process is you have someone who wants something, whether it's a service or a product, and then you're telling them what the benefits are because you've already gotten to know them and you're kind of feeling them out for what they want, and then you just bring them together. But it's always done with the idea of helping
Yes.
the other person.
Adding.
How can I help you today? How many people can I help today?
That's right.
So let's see, how many people can I make smile today? It goes along with that, because of the law of vibration, which is used by salespeople, because we want to make people feel better by having known us, and thereby everything grows, including sales. And it just becomes a natural expansion.
That's right. And it gets very twisted nowadays when we start talking about marketing tactics and social media, because just by the nature of social media, it can become a very me conversation experience.
It's a narcissistic type
It is.
platform.
It
It
is.
really is.
It
I
is.
mean, I don't mean that necessarily in
No, just-
a negative way, but it does kind of promote that individual.
It's what it's about,
thoughts,
right? Yeah,
right.
it's about you and your life and what you have going on. Now, in sales, it can be a very useful tool. So as a coach, I try to change the lens in which the salesperson is seeing social media through, and instead of making it about just trying to push a product or a service, there again, if you're selling something and you're trying to use one of the social media platforms to sell, which I think is, there again, great. Think about it this way, though. If it's not working so well for you, think of how you can post ways that you can actually solve a problem for someone or just help them. It doesn't have to be just about you. You can use social media as a conduit, right, to reach out and connect with someone. And when you do that, everything magic happens in sales, because people do business with people that they know and that they like, right? And so social media can be used as a great tool for people to see if they like you at the end of the day.
All right, we're going to have some more with Tobi Moyle. Tobi Moyle, just you can Google her at Tobi, and then her last name is Moyle, or go to lifeisaladder.com. That's lifeisaladder.com. You can also reach out to us here at American Roundtable by checking out our Facebook page at American Roundtable, or go to Facebook/USA Roundtable. This is American Roundtable. Happy Sunday morning to you, right here on TV 38 Orlando. Welcome back to American Roundtable on TV 38 and on Facebook at facebook.com/USA Roundtable. Tobi Moyle, what more can you say? She is a sales pro extraordinaire coach, and she works with some very cool companies in the southeastern part of the United States and then expanding on. I'm one of your coachees or mentees, students.
Yeah.
Run me through a coaching session.
So it's an ongoing process when I'm coaching an individual. This individual, you might be selling something yourself, so you're the salesperson, or you could be a sales leader. Process looks the same, so you could play along at home if you would like to, there again, if you're in sales. So I first start, it's all about questions, right? So contrary to what some people think, coaching is not just about giving direction and telling you what to do, though I certainly, with my 20 years of experience, can add some tidbits here and there and give some gentle guidance. But really a great coach is about asking great questions to help someone work through a process on your own.
Right.
To take you on a guided tour, if you will. So
I
that
like
you,
it.
Yeah, so that you can come up with the answers, right? Because we always will take ownership of something more if we've thought it ourselves rather than someone just said it to us. So the first thing we would do is talk about what's already working for you in your business. There again, so if you're sitting at home playing along, where did you get that last client or clients? Specifically, I like to go back a little while so that you can see a trend. So the last 10 transactions that you closed or the last 10 products that you sold, where did those clients come from?
Mm-hmm. What was the sources?
Where
for me, for
yes.
instance, I get call-ins.
Yep.
That's where I get a lot. And then I buy some leads so that people call me or I'm able to reach out to them that are actually in a house buying. But I don't do a lot of that. I just keep it in there to sprinkle it. I like to have a little bit. I don't want to blow the whole marketing budget, but at the same time, I want to. But that's where they've come from. Primarily those two sources.
So your last 3 transactions, specifically.
The
last one, where did it come from?
Last 3 transactions, I would say. The last one I just did was a friend of a friend. That was a referral. The one before that was a call-in, and the one before that was a call-in.
Got it. So you got 2 call-ins, and that's a small small sample.
Right.
But what I'm trying to get out of this line of questioning is there a trend, a common place that's working for you? Because in sales, we might run ads or do mailers or have all these different tactics of trying to find new prospects, new customers, but it doesn't mean that they work, right? So the numbers, right.
And I tried one and it
You
didn't
never
really
know.
work.
The
But you don't
numbers
know
don't
until
lie.
you try. Yeah.
That's a really good point, right?
Yeah.
You have to try different things. But the numbers are the numbers. I like to say, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. And so I like working with facts because they are what they are.
Black and white.
Black and white, that's right. So you go through and once you figure out what's actually working for you. Sometimes this is a surprise. You might think in your mind, because you've spent so much money on one tactic, you might just assume that that's where your business has come from, when contrarily, it might have come from something else. You mentioned a referral.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
once we establish where your current business is coming from, where your current success is coming from, then we want to double down and triple down in those areas because that's already working for you.
Right. So I'm very good with folks and meeting them and asking questions and developing a rapport. And of course, I start on the phone most of the time or almost all the time and then get their information and then go see them because I want to make some type of a physical connection, right? And that's kind of what I do. And so that's what works for me. That's what we would have to double down on.
That's right.
Right.
So we go through and spend time as a coach and client working on your marketing. Are you spending energy somewhere else that maybe you should move to some more of those things? And not just leads. By the way, when we're talking about sales, not just where are you actually getting phone calls or interest, tire kickers maybe, where you're actually having the business, where is it coming from that's actually getting across the finish line? When someone actually buys your product, where did that person come from? Because those are the kind of clients we're looking for, right?
Right. And what type are they, right?
That's right.
And we're going to talk about that in the next segment. We'll go through a little bit more of what you're doing. But, it's about relating to your clients, I think. And so, Tobi Moyle, so glad to have you on. We'll have a little bit more, some thoughts in our next segment of today's American Roundtable, TV 38, Orlando. Welcome back to the American Roundtable. Al Spry here, along with Tobi Moyle, and so happy that you have been able to join us on this special edition. We like to do these every once in a while and feature a guest of excellence. And so, Tobi, you're a guest of excellence. What do you think of that?
Thank you. I'm honored.
I know you like to use those acronyms, so I'm going to call you a GOF, You're a goer, a guest of excellence.
Oh, I like it.
Go. Anyway, no, stay, don't go.
Okay.
But I wanted to kind of go through. We're meeting now. You know,
Yes.
we're relating. Show me what you're now when you're talking. So let's say we'll do a little role play perhaps, and kind of go from there. But I know we were kind of starting to do that in the next in the last segment. So, for instance.
Well, so after we would talk about where your business is currently coming from, where you're having success, then we would go into building a business strategy, a marketing plan. So I'm a firm believer, and have proven many times over the last 20 years in sales, that if you don't have a plan, a marketing plan I'm talking about, for a small business, for someone selling a product, it's like the old adage, if you don't, plan, you're kind of planning to fail if you fail to plan. And it's so true. You really have to have a goal. I'm a big believer as a coach in having an end goal, so we know where we're trying to get. And then having a detailed daily, weekly, monthly strategy of what are you going to do to let the world know that you exist. Because no matter how great your product is that you're selling, no matter how great your restaurant is, no matter how wonderful of a lawn that you might cut with your landscaping business, people have to know, Al, that you're there. They have to be able to find you, right? You can't be a secret. And I think that's where a lot of people fall down. So as a coach, I help someone to develop, and I mean literally write down an actual marketing plan of the activities that they're going to take. Because if you leave it up for, you see how you feel every morning when you wake up, and that's what's going to dictate what you're going to do. Hey, we all have bad days, and we all get busy. Life is busy.
Life is busy.
For all of us. And so I like something that you can literally just follow step by step, right? I'm going to do this on Monday, this on Tuesday, that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. So, that's just so you have a multi-tiered plan. What about people that need a little more help with the relating to others? How are you helping them? Like maybe trying to get that, because you can have all that marketing bringing people in. Then what do you do with these people? So go from there through the process.
Yeah. So different. You're exactly
Let's just
right.
say use real estate for an example, since you have familiarity with that.
Yeah.
You coach that.
So especially for those of us that maybe either don't like or just don't relish going out and meeting a ton of new people, let's say knocking on doors. I don't think that many people relish just talking to random strangers and interrupting their dinner. I mean, if we're going to be honest, right? So that said, as a coach, I really encourage people to work with the people that they already know. Al, we all, as adults, have friends. We have connections, people that you know from the neighborhood, people that you know from church and the grocery store. Talk to the people that you already know. That's my big advice for anybody, but especially people that maybe aren't great at going out and meeting brand new people. There's an old adage that you don't just want to go 6 miles wide, meaning just meet new people all the time and, like you said, just keep putting them into some prospecting database.
Yeah.
But you want to go 6 miles deep with the people that you already have some sort of connection with. Maybe it was a past client, who knows. But, we have so much business right under our feet.
Warm market, they call that.
That's right, yeah.
The warm market.
And so I think we just missed that. And so a little piece of advice that maybe everyone at home could kind of play along with is, if you're in sales, literally, as soon as the show is over, go to the computer and Google search yourself or search for yourself and see if you're able to be found, number one. And number two, is your phone number there? Is it easy to reach you, right? Things happen, updates are made. Gosh knows that I've had my phone number fall off on a website that I thought was there and it's not. You don't want to make it too difficult for people. Once they make the decision that, goodness, I want to hire you as my real estate agent to sell my home, well, don't send them on a wild goose chase where they can't find you.
Right. Well, how do I get in touch?
Make it easy for them.
Yeah.
So
and it's funny, because and so many of us, and I think you can't say this enough, is so many people are on Facebook now and Instagram and so forth. And I think that you have to, especially on Facebook, because you're always putting out and building rapport with people with every post. Yeah. Then you can, and I don't agree you should market yourself too much through your personal. You should have a separate marketing, separate for your real estate or whatever your business is, and then your personal. But you can you could post from one to the other.
Thank you.
You
That's
go across.
exactly right.
So that's
right.
what you were waiting for me to say.
1,000%.
So
yes.
then you have the separate, but not every post has to be business.
No, no.
And then you say reach me. So now, like you were alluding to earlier, it's easy to reach me. You hit the message button.
That's
I'm
right.
right there.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's a
So-
real form of communication.
Right.
I like to joke.
And then you could call through it now.
That's right. I mean, it's a real valid way to connect with someone. You know, it used to be, and I could still debate. Don't
Yes.
get me wrong, Al. If you put me in a courtroom, I could debate the pros and cons and be on either side of that whole argument when it comes to is social media the greatest thing that's happened right to our society or the worst thing. I could go
Depending
either way.
on
I
your
could go either way.
perspective, correct.
But when it
yes.
comes to business, to your point, you're spot on. It cannot be under stressed and under. I mean, you need to leverage social media, and that's something else that I coach a lot of businesses on. Is they know oftentimes that they should be on some of these platforms because there's billions, literally with a B, billions of people on these sites, but maybe they don't know the first thing about where to start. And I love to help people in those situations because it's not I think in life we overcomplicate things sometimes.
Some final words from you. What is sales, and why do you love sales, and what do you hope to impart to folks?
Yeah, gosh, I love sales because I love human behavior and I love humans. So it's a great combination, right? They dovetail nicely together, and it's a great opportunity to help others, truly. So whatever it is that you're selling, I've always firmly believed that, you know, on this earth we're trying to help others, and I think sales is a great way to do that. And if you go in with that philosophy, there again, if you're a top producer, top salesperson, or business owner yourself, you're shaking your head and nodding in agreement, I'm sure. But yeah, it's very true. Everyone who's successful selling something is truly trying to provide a solution and help others.
Yep, it has to come from the help, not from the what's in it for me. It has to be not with we, which should be with who. What's in it for you?
Yes, that's right.
So I want the woof. I don't want the woof 'em. I want the woof you. Which, you know, that's what I want because I want to help people. You're making me laugh. But anyway, Tobi Moyle, thank you so much for cutting up with us a little bit and giving us some nice solutions. Find out more about Tobi Moyle at lifeisaladder.com, lifeisaladder.com. And check us out on Facebook at American Roundtable or facebook.com/USA Roundtable. And remember to keep it real and keep it tough.